I want to talk about this LSU football team for a bit because we're gonna visit the other sports throughout the show today. But one thing we didn't talk about yesterday is what are some of the position groups that Coach O specifically pointed out in that press conference that he believes need to develop a lot. And there's a couple here that are obvious. There's a couple here which are pretty interesting. He mentioned 5 position groups yesterday. The obvious ones, he mentioned tight end. Obviously, right? Like, you lose a Rick Gilbert, although I'll be very interested to see how the Gilbert thing plays out longer term. But you lose a Rick Gilbert. You now have, like, Stores, Taylor, but you don't really have a dude there that you're absolutely in love with. And where that gets interesting, Jake, is that Jake Peetz has been very upfront about the fact that the best 5 will play. Yes. So if you're one of these offensive skill positions and you don't make them play you, your position will not see the field.
No, and I actually really like that, right? I'm going to have the best 5 I can have. And what does that mean? Well, you don't have to have a tight end.
Yeah.
Like even in 11 personnel, which is a spread concept, well, you can make that a 10 personnel. You can throw another receiver in there. If you want to go 20 personnel, which is 2 backs and no tight ends, right, and 3 receivers, you can do that. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. But that's not to say that the tight end position is going away. I mean, I think Kole Taylor is someone that I know you're a fan of what he can be if he continues to grow, but you don't have to just have the normal blueprint of what we think it should be, right? Now, you had a lot of 11 personnel in 19 because you had Thaddeus Moss. You had a lot of 11 personnel for the most part of last year because you had Eric Gilbert, right?
Yep.
Okay, so if you don't have that guy that forces you to put him in the personnel packages, then you don't do it. Right? Why would you put a bad player out there when you've got good ones on the bench? Like, that's not something you're going to do. So we'll see if these tight ends can get to a point where they say, no, we got to play that guy. We got to play Kole Taylor. Not to forget, when Coach O, when we asked him about tight end 2 weeks ago, he said Jack Besh. Like, that was the first name out of his mind. And Jack Besh obviously is not here right now, but that's someone that is a receiver, the best receiver in the state. All right, he won Player of the Year last year, but he's 220 pounds and only growing. So he could fill that role of a true F, not a Y. We talk about that. Y is the old school tight end that you used to see put his hand in the dirt. An F is what today's tight end is. He can be that guy. And if you ask him to do certain things as far as being a blocker, he's 220 pounds. I mean, he can get that done. 225. I played fullback here at 225 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
You can get that done.
Definitely. I mean, you don't have to be overwhelmingly large, but I mean, but that does show you just how maybe thin they feel they are at tight end, right? If you're kind of saying that you're looking for Jack Besh to maybe be an early and active contributor. So I think that's one of the obvious positions. I think the other ones that, it's no surprise that Coach O talked about needing someone to step up at linebacker, safety. I feel good about linebacker. I do feel like between Damone Clark's physical potential combined with now better coaching and Bug Strong's, physical, and even Baskerville's out for the spring, but if he gets right,
he's
back,
key. I think he is key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting him back with the way that he played last year.
He was one of the few that managed to improve in a situation that was a net negative on almost everybody on the field. So that speaks highly of Baskerville. So I think you're going to be fine at linebacker. Safety's more interesting. I do love having Todd Harris there, but certainly it's tough to see exactly how that'll shake out. Where I was a bit intrigued by what O had to say, though. So he mentioned tight end, he mentioned safety, he mentioned linebacker, but then he also talked about the need to develop wide receiver and running back. And I feel like especially wide receiver is a position that we just take for granted. I mean, because you've had Jamar Chase and then Terrace Marshall, and even like Gilbert is kind of like a wide receiver last year, and then you combine him with emergency Keyshawn Boutte. Like, you've had such overwhelming numbers, but when you look now, certainly Boutte is proven, but after that, it's a lot of very highly recruited guys, but maybe not guys that have had a ton of success. Guys that are improving, right? Coy Moore, Hebert Jenkins. They mentioned Trey Palmer.
I would say Hebert Jenkins is in a different category than the other guys that have to prove a little bit more.
I think, yes, I think he made more plays last year. I think Coy Moore started to come on at the end of the year in terms of actually getting catches. So even if we want to put Jure in the more proven category, that's only 2 guys.
Right.
And so after that, like, there is a ton of playing time to be had, especially if somebody like tight end or running back doesn't step up and you end up with 4 receivers on the field the majority of the time. So the question is, which one of these young talented guys can maybe take that step and get that PT?
Yeah, I still think, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I do think you need other people to step up. I mean, Kayshawn ended up your leading receiver last year, and then Jure was your third leading receiver. He had almost 400 yards. So he is a guy that, but still, like, that guy's pivotal. Like, what can he do? Can he take it from a 400-yard season to a 700-yard season, right? Because last year you had 2 700-yard receivers. Can he be that number 2? John Trey Kirkland's still back for this team. I mean, he's been here a very long time. That's someone that could have a role. I don't think it's as a, hey, you're going to be our third receiver, but he has a role on this team. I'll tell you, the guy that I want to see get involved is Trey Palmer.
Yeah.
When Trey Palmer touches the ball, he's electric, right? Now, there's been a reason, because it's been multiple coaching staffs why he has not been in the lineup and you know, maybe getting 15, 20 snaps or whatever it even might be. Like, he has been a returner, and he's been kind of a guy that is a rotational piece that gives someone a breather. Okay, can he make that next step? We've seen him return a kick and a punt for a touchdown already in his LSU career. So when he has
limited touches, it's not like he gets a lot of them.
And he's not like even the main returner.
Yeah,
it seems
exactly.
like when he gets the ball in his hand, he can be absolutely electric. Put him in the slot, throw him a bubble, throw him a now, get him involved in the game plan. If you want to have a jet sweep guy, let it be Trey Palmer. This is someone that, look, he might not be the best route runner. I don't know that. There's a reason why he hasn't been so far a guy that gets 35, 40 snaps in a game at receiver. But I know what he can do.
Yeah.
He can find the end zone with the ball in his hand. So I'd love to see them get him involved somehow, some way in the game plan. And that's on the offensive coordinator. That's on Coach Peets to get him in the game, not have tendencies when he's in the game with him, but also utilize his talent.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly heartening to hear Coach O talk about, I mean, specifically mention Trey Palmer as a guy who's stepping up. People develop at different rates. I've always talked about it. In my own college experience, I wasn't ready to play till my third year on campus. We just have this idea where when somebody's highly rated, we want them to be good immediately. You can be good eventually. And I think that's kind of the path that maybe Trey Palmer is setting himself up for. The jet sweep thing is interesting to me because think about how Bama would tie people into knots with how they would move around Devontae Smith pre-snap last year. I mean, just all over the place, getting your head on a swivel, confusing the hell out of you, especially that LSU defense last year. You could do similar creative things with Palmer. I only want to spend like a minute here. Maybe we revisit it. But running back, shockingly, is becoming maybe the biggest question mark on this team.
It is.
Which you would have never guessed recently.
If you'd asked me in January, I would have had questions about the running back position. It's one that I can't figure out because you've got veteran players that have been here a while now, and you've got guys that, you know, got some run in 2019, certainly got some run last year, and I don't have to have one guy take over that position. I'm okay if it's multiple guys, but I need to see more from whoever's in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be at a higher level because you know they're talented guys, but right now, who knows who the starting running back is on this team? I don't think the coaches know. Nobody knows right now. Nobody has taken that and said,
open.
Hey, I'm going to be the number one guy where I get 70% of the carries and you're going to get 20 and you're going to get 10. Like, nobody has taken over that and made it a stable position right now. Now, we know John Emery's been banged up. Coach O mentioned that. I'd love to see him.
Which doesn't help, though. I mean, TDP and Emery are out right now. So it's just, I mean, the question marks about, look, if I'm Kiner or Amani Goodwin, I'm coming for PT. Yeah. I don't care if I'm a true freshman. Like, the door, the opportunity is right there before you. You just have to go and take it. It's like Achilles tells the Myrmidons before they land. I love Brad Pitt and Troy. When we get back, let's go ahead and do what we do every Thursday at 7:30. Let's talk to Chef Michael Johnson, answers our Munchies questions. Go ahead and get them in the chat. We'll be back with more Off the Bench next.